What was once a tone of gentle affection suddenly escalated into a roar, commanding Shannon to get out, but the room turned into a party, making a ruckus. Subtitles. The old man took a vacation suddenly. Shannon hung up, not wanting her mum's long talk, and rushed in. But as she entered, she was stunned by the scene resembling a mirror maze, seen through mirrors, and finally understood why Professor Lion looked around. Professor Lion said the village is a mystery puzzle of 4 pieces, with more hidden, but the old man's sudden death. The villagers have complained bitterly, as these folk events are physically demanding for the elderly, yet the village chief still insists on holding the grass hole ceremony. I hoped Professor Lion would intervene, but unexpectedly, Professor Lion was cold as ice, ordering villagers home with motherly advice. Don't look back home, lock doors, ignore knocks. Yet, villagers' faces showed they'd heard a joke. As soon as they left, Prof. Lion told the chief, hold the grass hole ceremony tomorrow, quickly. But when they checked on the family heirloom scarecrow, they were shocked to find it had mysteriously gone missing. The chief saw them curled here before morning. Villagers cleaning likely borrowed them. 3 cleaners didn't answer calls, forcing them to search the 3 homes separately. Meanwhile, an ominous wind suddenly swept through the village. The wind even accidentally whisked away an old man's hat, and the old man floated to the road along with it. Luckily, right at the very next moment, Shannon arrived just in time. This saved the old man's life. He told Shannon he and old Jin felt ill and skipped cleaning, leaving only Grandma Puck busy. Professor Lion was to find Grandma Puck, but as he was about to call, he choked up a mischievous ghost sat opposite her. The words, "Be careful, old lady. Why are you here?" seemed for Prof. Lion, but she stared across. And there were clearly 2 sets of utensils on the table, followed by the eerie voice saying, I saw it too, but why didn't you dodge? Why not dodge? 10 years home, same each year before the Grass Hall Festival. This is when the ghosts come out to play. The mystery is why Grandma Park saw things she shouldn't have this year. Professor Lion immediately realized that he had seen the stove outside earlier, but even if he kicked it over now, it was too late. The scarecrow was already unrecognizable, and the ominous wind in the village grew stronger, with things welling madly outside many villagers' doors. Meanwhile, on her quest for Professor Lion, Shannon looked up and saw a chilling sight through a wide-angle lens of dark atmosphere behind her. Each one greedily eyeing her like a group of hungry demons awaiting a meal, leaving her no time to think, and she bolted away like the wind. Just as she reached a certain spot, her foot suddenly tripped over something. She quickly looked up at the window, only to find that it was no longer pitch black outside, but just a silhouette. She barely believed it, and rushed forward to wipe the window frantically. Finally, she saw her a word farther in the reflection, Professor Chang Mo, and the nearby mountain village turned out to be the source of the haunting. Professor Lion hurried to the village branch in shock, and after digging through piles of records, he found that the mountain village, backed by mountains and sea, was a place surrounded by spirits. Hence, the ancestors erected longevity pillars in all 4 directions. It was to guide ghosts, but Grandma Pio changed the northern pillar to the south to see her old daughter, and she used the laughter of a sheep to cure her yin-yang eyesight, which caused the gathered ghosts to be trapped in the village. This caused the villagers' elderly to pass away one after another. Now, if they could just go down the northern longevity pillar, they could disperse the spirits, but Professor Lion had only lifted the axe a few times when he suddenly felt a squeeze behind him, and Professor Lion didn't want to waste time anymore. After all, cutting the pillar sooner means 1 more second of safety for villagers. Suddenly, dense fog emerged from the sea, swiftly approaching the village. The northern longevity pillar on the seaside was the first to be hit, so Grandma Pio was just about to move some stones to unleash a special move. Finally, thick fog arrived. Cheng Zhao and Professor Lion swung the axe. The pillar broke in one chop. Fog vanished, and spirits wailed in the village. Meanwhile, Shannon saw her dead father through the window, asking, "Why leave me at home with evil spirits? Isn't that just harming your own daughter?" But her father could only manage to say 3 words that, "Mother," instantly engulfed by fog. Those 3 words left Shannon confused. The letter was her father's handwriting. Why deny it now? Confused, Shannon fainted, and when she woke, she was in a hospital with her mother calling from Seoul. Facing her mother's questions, she didn't want to say a word. After all, her mother had kept too many secrets from her. Reluctantly, her mother had to lay everything out on the table. When Shannon was 5, her mother was pregnant with a second child. 2 months before the due date, her father said oddly, "Go die, or die. I'll kill you." Honey, her husband, recovered soon, but his fierce look sent chills down her spine, so next day her mother took Shannon back to her home. Hiding here was futile, for the evil spirit already roamed the yard. When she woke from her nightmare, warmth suddenly surged beneath her. She pulled back the covers, and unsurprisingly, the child was lost, but her nightmare was far from over. That night, her mother suddenly went missing, and on her way home, she happened to see her mother struggling on the side, her wrist marked with an O. She shouted, "Don't look back, and never come back." From that moment, she took Shannon and sought refuge in Seoul. They never saw her husband again, and Professor Yan, having learned the secret of Shannon's mother, immediately had the village chief take her to Shannon's ancestral home. But the ancestral home had been uninhabited for over 20 years and was now in shambles, with little chicks occasionally running around, which didn't catch Professor Lion. Even after her efforts, no clues of the evil spirit were found. Meanwhile, Shannon returned to Seoul with her mother. Mother recounted how she met her husband. Though Clid D, the story had the detail.